Hey guys, normally I'd be doing some kind of app review this week, but I just haven't had any time to do anything, and I have all these videos planned that I want to do, but I just haven't gotten around to doing them yet. I have a list, and they will happen, don't worry. But for now, I wanted to do Ophelia Vert's challenge of the guilty language learner tag, actually. So this is going to be a little bit embarrassing, of course, because as in some of my other videos, I am admitting some of the things that I am not so good at with language learning. So here we go. Question 1. Which language do you never make time for? For me, that would be Portuguese. So on campus we have this Spanish-speaking group. Of course, some of my classes are in Spanish. I have friends who speak Spanish that I will text. So I am using Spanish often, not as much as I would like, but I'm still using it. As for French, I have been going to some French events on campus as well. I've been writing in my diary in French, so I use it very little, but I still have been using it. Portuguese, the only thing I have really done is written in my diary. I have not physically spoken Portuguese with someone in a while. Once in a while, it will be with my classmate who studied, actually, he didn't study there. He was working in Mozambique. So sometimes we will converse in Portuguese, but very little. So actually that is the language I don't leave any time for, because even with Korean and Polish, sometimes I will try to speak Korean, sometimes I'll try to speak Polish. I'm actually still trying to study Polish while balancing school and that as well. But Portuguese, nothing. So I know I need to get on Hello Talk and start finding people to talk to. Question 2. What language do you think you'll never learn? Or which language do you think you'll never learn? Finnish. So I love the band Nightwish, at least I was really into them years ago, and I wanted to learn Finnish because of them. I mean, they primarily sing in English, they have a Finnish song, but because I knew they were from Finland, I started looking up things about Finnish, and I really like the sound of the language. I think it's beautiful, but I'm also intimidated by all the cases. I think someone said there's 14 cases in Finnish, and as it is with Polish, 7 is enough. Like, I don't want to try to tackle 14 at this point in my life, so I'm not sure I will ever get around to doing that. And then also, it was a language I wanted to learn way back, but I don't have the same desire and fire in my heart that I did for it years ago. 3. What is your most expensive / least valuable language-related investment? Well, probably my most expensive, to be honest, was going abroad and being able to speak the language. I mean, trying to live over there. But as far as material things go, I would say Rosetta Stone. It was a gift from one of my family members, but definitely the most expensive investment in language learning that I've had, because I don't spend lots of money on resources, especially if I know I'm not going to use them, but Rosetta Stone's pretty costly, so I would say, yeah, French Rosetta Stone. And least valuable, I mean, I try to look for a lot of free resources, so I feel like the majority of my resources are not valuable as far as money goes, but as far as content, it is very worthwhile. So I have videos on all kinds of resources that I like and such. But if we're going for least valuable in terms of not money-wise, I would probably just say all the labels that I keep from things, and I try to read them in the different languages even if I don't know them. So I just take them and then I throw them somewhere, and who knows where they are. I probably have a pile of them somewhere. Next, what's a lie you tell to non-language learners to try to get them to learn languages? That's a hard one for me, because the thing is, I don't like to lie to people. I mean, who likes to lie? But seriously though, I feel like a terrible person if I ever lie. So I guess this isn't a lie per se, but this isn't telling the truth. So you could take this however you want to. But I would say when someone is talking to me and they're like, yeah, I took 2 years of X language in high school, so I think that if I went to this country, I'd be good enough to get around. And I'm just like, oh yeah, huh. And the thing is, maybe you could, depending on how much you studied during those 2 years and how much you're maintaining it, maybe. But I know for me personally, I had to do so much studying outside of class to get to where I was. And you could see the difference if you study outside of your class and then you look at your peers who don't really do that. They just do their homework and show up. You could tell the difference in level by just being in that classroom. You know if you're a language learner. And the thing is, those people who took the 2 years and stopped, they might not be into languages, and they're just like, yeah, if I go, I think I could survive. And yeah, okay, you could say, where's the bathroom? How much does this cost? But I think that you're missing out on so much by going to a country and just using a little bit. However, I have said to people, try to learn as much as possible before going. So even if that's a little bit, it still makes a difference. I guess that doesn't really attract people to learn a language, but like I said, if they're non-language learners and I just want them to learn for the sake of learning, I don't tell them. Although maybe I should tell them, like, hey, actually learn more, because that would get them to learn, wouldn't it? Anyway, yeah, that was a really tough question to answer. And 5, what is your language learning guilty pleasure? I cannot read. Okay, my guilty pleasure, at first it was dabbling in a ton of languages and not being able to choose one, but I would probably say, I would say that my guilty language learning pleasure is, I don't know, you know what I mean. I would say that it's probably hoarding things, which I know I've talked about that before, and I love to be organized. I love to try to be a minimalist as much as possible, which sounds really, I don't know, it doesn't make sense, but when it comes to language items, especially if they're free, if it's a pamphlet, if it's a newspaper, if it's, like I said, the label of some kind of product, I literally kept the package of some kind of Japanese mask that you put on your eyes so that it keeps your eyes warm. I kept it just so I could try to read it and then try to find the product later, and haven't done anything with it in months. I just have that label, as well as a ton of other product labels somewhere, and other resources that don't get used. So that's it for the guilty language learner tag. I'll get this down eventually. But that's all for today. I wanted to thank Ophelia Vert for posting this in the first place, and check out her channel if you haven't, because she is great and she loves languages as well. And she's got a ton of other interests that are super cool. So I'd recommend checking her out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!